And let's start with the prediction. And the first match to predict is Chelsea versus Luton. So I think I should start it because I'm a Chelsea fan. So for me, being very honest, it was a very disappointing defeat to West Ham. It was like we played some very good football. I still believe at the halftime we could easily have been 3-1, 4-1 up, like the penalty, the missed chances, Sterling missing that Enzo pass. So I think we were a much better team. And I think in the first half we could easily have scored 3 or 4. But again, Chelsea just can't score goals. And defensively, we were caught off. But no disrespect, Luton is a good team and wish them the best. But I think they are the best opponents right now for us to bounce back. And I think this is a match where we can score goals, we can dominate. And I'm going with a 3-0 Chelsea. And what's your prediction, mate?
Yes, absolutely, Shah. Absolutely agree with you there. I think Chelsea shouldn't take this fixture lightly. I think there should be a game they must focus on to score goals and get confidence back on those players to probably bounce back on that very, very unfortunate West Ham result. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game for Chelsea. It is at Stamford Bridge. They should be getting the goals and getting the confidence back into the players, with the likes of Sterling also scoring.
So what's your prediction for the match?
I think it's going to be a very easy 4-0. We have seen that Chelsea could have scored. Chelsea usually scores against those types of teams, the lower tables. They shouldn't go confident in this game. They should, but high confidence. I think they must get their confidence back. They shouldn't take it this lightly. I think they must get their goals. And it's going to be a 5-0 easy.
Oh, no. Okay, that's a good one, bro. And coming on to the next one, that is Bournemouth versus Spurs. And for me, that is a very tasty fixture. But looking at the injuries Bournemouth have got, they have no Tavernier, no Autura, they've got no Fredericks as well, Smith as well. So they have some big injury problems. And Tottenham right now under Ange Postecoglou are playing some of the best football I've seen right now in the league. They are playing beautiful football. But defensively, I think they still have a lot to give. United should easily have been 2-3-0 up by halftime. But the second half by United was horrendous. But I think in this match, I think Tottenham will score enough. I think it's going to be Bournemouth 1, Tottenham 2 with the injuries Bournemouth have got. And Tottenham will get 7 points now from 3 games. What's our prediction made for the Bournemouth versus Spurs game?
Yes, I think it will be tight. Although Bournemouth isn't that much of a team the last season, they're certainly building on something. And I think that Tottenham, they have the players to beat them, but I think they're going to slip because they're not really that type of team, just because they were fortunate to beat Manchester United, because they just played very horribly, Manchester. So I think Bournemouth will come away with a 1-1 draw. It will be a tight game. I think Dominic Solanke will score a goal.
Good one, and I also think he's going to score, but I think Spurs will have enough. So coming on to the next game, that is Brentford versus Palace. A really good game, I will say, people. Really good game. And Brentford has started the season well. I've been going on Mbumu visa, my FPL picks, and they have done really well. And Brentford are a very, very good team and tough to beat at home. They had 2-2 draw versus Spurs, and then they went away to Fulham and absolutely battered them. So coming on to, first of all, Brentford, I think Brentford have the goals in Mbumu, the visa. They have that goals. Jensen can provide it at some time. I don't know if he's fit, but I think he can provide that. And you go to Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace played really well against Arsenal in terms of what I expected. But Crystal Palace still have no Olise. Eze has to carry all the burden. Edward, the striker, I don't think is good enough to provide many goals. And I think, again, it's going to be the problem. Palace will play well, but they won't score a goal. And I'm going with Brentford 2, Crystal Palace 0. What's your prediction, mate?
Yes, I fully agree with you. I think Crystal Palace are struggling at the moment to get the goals. And Brentford, they are a very, very good team. We've seen them last season beating Man City twice. They really are a good underdog team. And I think they should beat Crystal Palace. A 2-0 one.
Good one, bro. I agree with that. And coming on to the next match now, that is Manchester United and Nottingham Forest. And last week we all know what happened. The Ten Hag trying that midfield, which I think he should not be trying. Casemiro, Mount and Bruno, that's a recipe for disaster. He needs to go with either McTominay or either balancing it out in some way, even playing Eriksen. And I think that midfield is very exposing right now, Manchester United. But if there's a fixture to bounce back, that is this fixture. No disrespect to Nottingham Forest, but the away record is horrendous. Yes, they got a 2-1 result at Emirates, but that first half, bar the Brennan Johnson chance, it was absolute dominance by Arsenal. I believe there was a stage where they had 85% possession, Arsenal, and that was a pure dominance. And I think United at home, in form of Bruno Fernandes, in form of Marcus Rashford, I think they will have enough goals to take on Nottingham Forest. And I think they're going to put 3 past Nottingham Forest, get that confidence. And I think for Nottingham Forest, they'll get a goal through Evony, and we know how dangerous he can be. But Nottingham Forest at away grounds are not really good. What's your prediction made for the Manchester United with the Nottingham Forest game?
Yes, I think you're absolutely spot on as well because Manchester United in that defensive area where Casemiro, that side of the midfield, they are really, really exposed. We saw that against Wolves. They open a lot of space, and that's where we are left vulnerable. So I really think we must be bouncing back this fixture, and it will be a big game. I think Manchester United on home turf at Old Trafford, we must be getting the win easy 2-0.
Good one, bro. And I think it's the same because Old Trafford is a fortress. But now, coming on to another fortress in the Premier League, that's Emirates Stadium, Arsenal versus Fulham. And I think many people are not realizing, but Fulham are in massive trouble right now. Mitrovic was the 2 days ago sold to Saudi. Along with that, they still have injury in Palhinha, which is so massive. They've lost to Brentford already in the last match as well. And they beat Everton. And if people have watched that match, Everton should have destroyed them, but they had Neil Maupay as a striker. Otherwise, it easily could have been Everton 3, Fulham 1. And Fulham are not looking a good team. From a team that were around top 10 last season, this season can be one fighting for relegation. And I think, again, Arsenal at home, the attacking quality they've got, and Fulham not having Palhinha, Fulham not having even a proper goal scorer, I think Arsenal are going to put them in the sniff and make a massive statement to Manchester City. I think Arsenal are going to put 5 past Fulham. This is a big one I'm going with. I think it's going to be Arsenal 5, big party for Odegaard, Saka, and even Nketiah or Havertz. And I think it's going to be Arsenal 5, Fulham 0. What's your prediction made for this match?
Yes, I don't think it will be that dominating for the Gunners. They haven't really been up and running this season. They have been scoring the goals. They have been getting the wins. But I think if Fulham want to get a result, it must be here. Obviously, losing their main man, Mitrovic, isn't that much of a good side, but I still think they might get something out of this game. They might score a goal, but honestly, I think Arsenal is still going to win 3-1 Arsenal.
Absolutely agreed, mate. And coming on to the next one now, this is one of the most tasty fixture in terms of what both teams are going to provide. That is Everton versus Wolves. Both sides cannot score a goal. Both sides right now are in massive trouble. Everton, we've all seen they are massively trouble. I saw them against Villa and they look like proper relegation candidates right now. And then you got Wolves who put so many shots behind United, but it never looked like they even hit the goal. And that's the problem. The team has no goals right now. And this is going to be either a snooze fest or either a goal galore. But I don't know how I can expect Everton to score goals right now, Wolves. And this is why I'm going with right now a 0-0 because I don't even know who's going to score here. Both teams are primed for relegation. And I think it's going to be a tough season for them, for Sean Dyche and the Wolves, Gary O'Neill as well. So coming on to you, mate, what do you think of Everton Wolves at Goodison Park?
Okay, I think at Goodison Park, it is two very, very underperforming teams. Obviously, Everton last season, almost relegation. I think they have to win this game. It will be a big game, but obviously Everton, they haven't been on good form. Wolves either. They both are yet to win a game this season, but I think Everton will get the win. It will be a close 1-0 result for them.
Absolutely, and I think it could be something like that as well. And coming on to the next one, that is another very good fixture which is going to be exciting, which is Brighton versus West Ham. Because on one hand, Brighton are showing everyone what they've done last year. They're not going to be straight away going away. They're not going to go away with the top 6, and they're right now looking one of the best oil machine in the league, putting 4 past Wolves, and they've been playing some good football. Solly Marsh, Mitoma right now in one of the best form in the league. You've got Estupinan, one of the best left back right now in the league. They're playing some absolutely sincerely football. West Ham beat Chelsea, but being very honest, and this is no offense to West Ham, but if instead of Chelsea it was Manchester City, if it was Manchester, even not United, because United right now struggling to score goals, but Arsenal or Liverpool, West Ham could easily have in 3 or 4-1 number half time. I'm not impressed by West Ham defensively, but I think in Ward-Prowse and big people like Ogbonna Zuma, they have the goals in set pieces. I'm going with Brighton putting 4 past West Ham and West Ham sniffing out 2 goals. I'm going with Brighton 4, West Ham 2. What's your prediction made for this match?
Yeah, Brighton, obviously, they scored 4 goals past Luton Town, but don't be fooled. They have European football this season, which will be a big step for them. I think they will still be, it will still be tough for them. Facing any Premier League team will be tough. But obviously, I think Brighton are a good team. They really, over the last few seasons, they really show what they are made of. I'm going 3-0 Brighton.
That's a good one as well, and I agree. Brighton right now playing some of the best football in the league, and that brings me to another match, and that is another team that is primed for relegation. That is Sheffield United versus Manchester City. Sheffield have not looked good right now in the league, and Manchester City have not looked good and still won 2 matches, and they're still without so many players. Kevin De Bruyne, massive injury, and still they're such a strong team. Everybody primed them to drop points against Newcastle, and what happened? They kept clean sheet because right now in the league they're one of the best defenses. Guardiola, Kyle Walker, Stones, who is right now not fully fit, Ruben Diaz. They have Akanji. They have such a good defense, and I think this is a fixture where Haaland now found some goals. I'm not going big margin. I don't think City are going to batter Sheffield United. I think Sheffield will sit back and try to save the margin. But I think it's going to be Sheffield nil, City 3. The class of Manchester City is too much of Sheffield. But I hope they play well for the Premier League quality and for Sheffield's own sake. Coming to you, mate, what do you think is going to happen? Sheffield versus Manchester City.
The Citizens against the Blades, I think obviously this from the start, this looks like a very easy result for Manchester City. But as you just said, I think any Premier League team has a force of doing anything at any moment. It really just matters what game you go into. But I'm going easy, Manchester City 3-0. But I actually think if I'm actually going to go, I'm actually going to go 2-1 Sheffield United. You never know. There might be some bummers or some shocks.
I think that's
You
not going to
don't
happen.
really see it, but I'm going to be brave for once. I'm going to go 2-1 Sheffield United. You never know because the last fixture they played, they have actually won. No, sorry, I'm going to change the team now.
Because I think the league right now, it needs a bit of competition because if Manchester City keep running away with it, I think it's going to be another disappointing season, to be honest. So in that way, I do agree. I think if Sheffield pull that result out, I think that would be great for the league. But I think right now the quality in the team is so much lacking right now. And I think Sheffield need to do better if they want to even think of a chance. Because right now, I think in the league, there are so many poor teams. And that brings me to another promoted team, that's Burnley versus Aston Villa. For Burnley, their last match was postponed against Luton Town. But they played the first game against City. I don't think they played bad. But again, that's the best opposition you're coming against. And they were easily dispatched when Manchester City were not even in their second gear, I say. They're easy peasy victory for Manchester City. And Aston Villa, they started the season back. I think the margin against Newcastle was too much harsh. Matty Cash should have scored that goal, and that easily could have been 3-2. But again, Tyrone Mings is sadly very badly injured, wishing him the best. And I think Aston Villa right now got a good victory against Everton, and now they're coming against Burnley, another team I expect Villa to win. And I think Villa have too much quality for Burnley, and I think Burnley are also going to be near that relegation zone, and I think it's going to be easy 2-0 victory. I think Burnley right now have still a lot to do, and I think this is the worst fixture they can get after having the previous match postponed. What's your prediction for the Burnley Villa game, mate?
The Villains against the Clarets, I think that Burnley do actually have a good team, but facing it up against the Villains, I think it will be very hard for them. I think it will be a home side win, 2-0.
Burnley 2-0 win?
Yes.
Wow, another
They
surprise
have a better
prediction.
team. Yeah,
Hopefully
you never know.
I want Aston Villa in some way to struggle because I think they could be in that race for top 7,
Yes,
top 8. So I want them to struggle.
exactly.
I think, bro, Musa Diaby, Ollie Watkins, I think this is going to be massive. If this happens, this is good for the league. But I think Aston Villa have just too much quality. But hopefully your prediction comes correct because you have made some very good prediction, spicy prediction. And that brings me to the last match, your own biggest rivals, Newcastle versus Liverpool. That is a massive match. And I think, being very honest, I was disappointed somewhere in Newcastle because I thought that was an opportunity to beat Manchester City, but they were still defensively solid. The midfield is still one of the best in the league. Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali, Joelinton, Isak and Wilson have so many goals. And I watched the Liverpool match against Bournemouth, and defensively, they were all over the place. Like, if there was a better team than Bournemouth, they easily could have been 2-0 up by half time. But Liverpool attack is still one of the best. Liverpool in the second half could have put 4-5 past Bournemouth. That's how good the attack was. Gakpo played well. Diaz was awesome. Salah was awesome. You've got Diego Jota. You've got Nunes on the bench. The attack is too much strong. But I think Newcastle, St. James Park, Liverpool still don't have a midfielder, and Endo is still very unproven. I think Newcastle are going to give them a bit in this match. I think Liverpool is going to score a goal, but I think Newcastle is going to put in the counter attacks. The Liverpool midfield empty. It's going to be Newcastle 3, Liverpool 1. What's your prediction for this game, mate?
Newcastle 3, Liverpool 1. Wow, that is a good prediction. I was actually thinking the same because Liverpool, their squad depth is not that good because they can be lucky that Luis Diaz isn't injured and Trent Alexander isn't injured because that game against Bournemouth, they were picking up some injuries in that team and they have no one to replace them in full honesty. So I think if Liverpool slips this season, I think it will be a very, very big slip. They really need to make a couple of signings if they want to compete for the title, or for Champions League even. I think the Magpies, they have a strong team. They did qualify for the Champions League, and they are a very hard team to face these days. I think it will be a tight game. Even though Liverpool's defense are very shaky, I think the Magpies attack's way better. So I'm going 2-0 to the Magpies, easy.
Good one. I'm just
Liverpool
going 3-1.
won't flip.
I think Liverpool will find a goal somehow, but I think it's going to be a tight game. I think Liverpool are going to be killed
Gonna be
off
a
on the
tight
counter
game.
because they are not playing
Exactly.
Bournemouth this time. They are playing Botman, Shaw, Trippier, Dan Burn, Nick Pope, and I think it could be very tricky one. So, people, this was my predictions, Red Devil Stand prediction. Please go subscribe to Red Devil Stand. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.
Best of luck to everyone. Thank you, and
Thank
thank
you
you
for
so much
having
for
me, bro.
joining.